Good day, everybody. Just working on this Bulova Accutron. Um, doing cleaning, service, and adjustment on the movement, and it's running extremely well. Had to replace the index wheel because the original one was damaged, and if you can see, that's it right about here. Oh, anyway, having a terrible time focusing, but that is it on the Rodico. So, the next step on this is the case. It was engraved on the back, and I just wanted to do a quick video on removing engraving, which is a tough thing to do sometimes. And luckily this was done with, looks like some kind of a dot punching machine. And basically what I do is I take a burnisher and I rub out the engraving as best I can. Right now I have the back placed on a Delron block so I can keep it from getting distorted, and I just burnish out the script, the writing, whatever engraving is on there. After such, I will go to my lathe, and then I will mount this in a chuck, and then take some light emery paper, so some 150 grit, and then just slowly polish and polish and polish out the back by hand at first, because I actually do not want to remove the serial number, which is right here. So I will burnish and polish out this part first, and then put it in the lathe, and then just do a quick pass across the back like so to bring back the detail that was on the case back, so that grain finish that you get from sanding. So that's how I do it. I think that's a great way. You can also take a jeweler's or a diamond setter's punch, a pneumatic punch, if you have a flex shaft machine, and you can actually just, burnish out with those special punches. I don't know if I have one here. I don't have my diamond setting tools around, but actually I do. So basically you would use this tip in a flex shaft machine, and it would just hammer punch out the engraving. You could also just do it by hand. So I have this hammer punch set up for diamond setting, and I used to do this with a hammer and just gently punch in. If I was doing pave, I would punch in the settings. But yeah, you could do it that way too. A little slower, but the flex shaft machine makes things really fast. You could just burnish out, just blend in all the writing with the flex shaft machine, and then put whatever finish on it after you're done. So that's a quick lesson in removing engraving that you don't want, and I'll put some pictures shortly of the next steps, which is lathe work. So I have the case back chucked up now, and it's in the 6-jaw chuck, which is a bezel chuck, and I'm just rotating by hand. I have the serial number at the top, and I'm just going across and sanding by hand right now to remove the last of the engraving. And then once that's done and there's very, very faint engraving lines left, what I will do then is hook up the belt and spin it. I'm using 220 right now to get the last of the engraving off without touching the outer ring. And then once I'm finished with that, I'll take some of this 320 and then go to 500, and I will just spin it and polish it this way with this kind of a motion, and that will be the project finished. Thanks for watching. Getting back to the Bulova case, you can see that the engraving that was on there is gone, and now I just have to put it in the lathe and polish it. Polishing the case back on the lathe, it's just simple as just taking a small piece of sandpaper and wiping it out to the outside. It's the case polished. It's got a beautiful star radiant reflection, and I'll take a little bit more off of it just to take out those marks on the A side of the Bulova. But all in all, that's the best way to remove engraving without removing a whole lot of metal. If you don't burnish it, you're going to be sanding so much off of there that you'll have nothing left on the case back. All right, thanks for watching. Bye. So this is the Accutron ready to go back together. There's the case with the engraving removed, and the gasket, the locking ring, and the case. My newly serviced and refurbished Accutron.